So April started and it's time to go through my March training as to how I got on with my running and my cycling and anything else I did, just generally. So as always, I've gone through all my training and put together a few little graphs to kind of show you visually what I've been up to instead of just, documenting it and just telling you what I've done. You can kind of see throughout the graphs, and I never remember which order I do them in, but we've got time, we've got frequency, and we've also got the distance for those that include distance. And we're going to start off today with our frequency count. So I managed 93 activities throughout the month of March, and that was 46 cycles, 18 runs, 17 walks, 6 stretch activities, and 6 strength activities. And it's pretty similar, like there is more activities than February, but March is a bit longer, and the split itself feels very similar to January and February. However, what is quite noticeable is that I've done 4 whole extra runs, and whilst that doesn't seem like quite a lot, that is a whole extra run every single week, and I don't really expect that to continue rising. I think 4 runs a week is quite manageable and I'm happy with that. Like January and February are kind of 3 runs a week months where I'm just kind of maintaining and trying to get out that door, whereas March I feel like I have picked up training a little bit more, so 4 runs a week, and I don't really expect it to go much higher very soon, so hopefully that number will kind of stay consistent throughout the rest of a little while anyway. And I think that extra run mainly has actually been me kind of forcing myself to go to parkrun. So each Saturday morning I've gone down to parkrun. I think there was 1 week where I missed it, or it was raining lots so I didn't do it, but I made up for it in the afternoon when I'd finished all my work bits and bobs, and did it about 5 o'clock. So I made sure that even though I didn't go to parkrun, I still had that Saturday run in and scheduled once all the business was done. And I think that is kind of making a difference towards my training as well. Like I feel a little bit better. Some of the runs haven't been great, some of them, have felt quite nice. So the last park run I did, so that would have been like the 30th of March, I managed to get my kind of 5k PB for the year. So it's not an all-time PB, but it is the one for the year, and that feels quite nice. So that was 23:37, something around those numbers, which feels really fast. And honestly, whilst I was running, I didn't feel that fast, so I'm quite surprised that it did get under that 24 mark. So moving on to the time that I spent during each activity, and this is 37 hours, almost 38. And I think for the first time this year, running has quite considerably outbeat cycling. So there is a good gap of about 3 hours compared to cycling and running. And I'm not sure if it comes across in the graph. Hopefully it comes across in the key where I've written them all out for you. Feels like such a big difference. I think last month they were both about 11.5 hours. So cycling hasn't really got higher or lower, just running has increased. And obviously that comes into the fact that I've done those 4 extra runs, and they must, they've got to be at least half an hour each to make up for that extra 3 hours of running. If we look at the time and the frequency though, while cycling has stayed the same, I have done 6 extra cycles, so they do appear to be getting shorter, but I'm somehow doing more of them. Probably shows that I'm getting a bit slower, or just not cycling as far during March, but there has been actually quite a lot of rain. So distance, we've got 44, something, I think 143, we'll call it that, kilometres for the whole month. And this is where we definitely see that I've been cycling a whole lot less, even though I've been cycling the same amount, if that makes sense. So the time's been the same, but the distance has been way less. And yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes I've been kind of ditching my bike sessions to indoor cycle because my knee's been a bit dodgy this month, and I just felt like every time I push through a pedal, it's really hurt throughout that knee joint. So I've kind of taken a back seat sometimes I'm doing this, which tend to be my slightly longer and kind of faster cycles, which probably is making up for that difference. And then all the outdoor cycles I've kind of had to do because most of them are commutes anyway. It's just those every so often. I think every Friday I try and do a little bit of cycling on the bike before kind of waking up properly. However, I have kind of shirked that and just been like, nah, won't do it. And yeah, it's not it's not major, you know, it's not going to like be detrimental to my training or anything like that. So it is kind of one that I feel like, you know, I don't really have to do. It is more active recovery for me. I'm not dedicated to side training on the bike. It is more of a, hey, let's keep the body moving and let's do something. So I'm not, you know, I'm not too fussed about not having done it, because at the end of the day, I need to kind of try and look after my knee. I don't want it to feel awful the whole time that I'm out there running or anything like that. But yeah, you can also see in this graph, so I've done 127 kilometers of running, something like that. Is that right? Yeah, 127 kilometers, whereas last month I think I only did like 80. So it's quite a big difference. That's like almost 50 kilometers difference. And I think that is kind of shown in those 4 extra runs, really. If I'm definitely going to club, that's a 10k that I haven't done. So that's, you know, that could be 30k that I never really did last month. And yeah, going to parkrun, you get another 5k. Oh, the cat's coming to see us. And then it just adds up, and it feels like it's almost like a whole extra a week of running, even though we've only had a couple of extra days from February and March. However, that does mean that I have actually done 100 kilometers this month, and on top of that, I have even made up for kind of like the lack of doing 100 kilometers in in January and February. So overall, I'm now back on track, or on track, because I never was back on track, to doing 1,200 kilometers this year. So that's 100k a month, which is kind of like my, you know, kind of B goal. It's not, you know, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I think it will probably happen. And normally when I kind of get back on track, I do find that I don't really dip down unless maybe if I get ill or something like that and I have to take a long period of time off. I'm probably going to stick with getting a little bit extra every single month for a little while now. So we'll probably be ahead by the time you hear me next month. I'll be like, you know, maybe 50k ahead, which, you know, could equate to a whole half month where I can take off without feeling like I'm losing out. So my favourite run or my favourite session has probably just been turning up to club. So I have actually been run leading for 3 out of the 4 weeks kind of that there was in March. And, you know, every single run has kind of been different and it's been nice. Some runs I was doing with people that I haven't met before. Other runs I did where I was leading like kind of a session. And yeah, it's been varied and it's been nice and I've not hated it. And yeah, it's been good to get in some kilometers whilst also having other people around that were also trying to get in some miles, if that makes sense. And like the 1 week that I did take off from going to club, because I wasn't leading, I did go on a run. I just didn't do it at the right time. So I did it a little bit earlier because it was a really bad day and it kept raining. So I was like, I'm going to take my chance now. I'm going to go. I'm going to try not to get soaked. And it was actually a wise choice because it did tip it down again before the time that the club run would have finished. So I am quite glad I did that. So unsurprisingly, there's been no races for March either. And I'm still not sad about it. You know, it'd be nice to do an event, but I'm not like hammering for one. I'm not like, yeah, let's do an event. I did donate a bit of cake to the Fee and Fury volunteers who are club mates of mine, and hopefully that cake went down well. I heard it was going to be delivered by a quad bike throughout all the mud. So I hope it went down well. And yeah, let's see what else. I've put my name down to volunteer at another race in I think May time. So we'll see if I get to do that. And it's just a way of kind of being involved but not actually running, because I'm not feeling like I'm in the best form. And the run in May, if I do volunteer, I think they give you a race entry to the following year's one. So that'll be like a free race that I don't even have to think about paying for, which would be nice. All right, let's finish at a different angle with our quick fire round. And that is, did I run 100k this month? And the answer to that one is yes, I did. I managed over that. Did I do 1 strength session a week? And the answer to that one is yes. It may not have been the one that I wanted, but I always made sure I did something each week. And then did I manage to do a stretch every week? The answer to this one is yes. So there was one Sunday where I kind of came to it and it was such a busy day that I just kind of completely went to sleep when I got in at about 11 o'clock in the evening. However, I woke up and did it the Monday morning. So I kind of counted it for the week before, but was it or was it not? You know, it wasn't 7 days after the other one, so maybe that doesn't count. But I'm gonna count it. I'm gonna count it because I also did the one on the Sunday as well. So yeah, that's all three for quickfire rounds. We might have to add some more things in here. I hope you've enjoyed this little look at my running training for March. And in the meantime, happy running.